Namaskar. I am very happy to meet all of you through this social platform. I was making videos in Telugu. I thought of meeting a vast section of the society. That is the reason I am making a video in English. But in fact, this is to share my findings after an intense search with all of you. This video is meant for those people who are serious about life. Serious does not mean putting long faces or frowning faces. Serious in the sense those who are concerned with living, those who are really interested in living, those who do not lead life mechanically, those who do not walk on the beaten path. This video is made under the series Life and Living. We all lead a life. We all have a life. How do we approach life? What makes us feel that we are alive? As you all know, life is a one-time opportunity. Right now we have a life, and how do we make use of it? How are we making use of it? The way we live, the way we meet the challenges of life. I would like to discuss about that. It is not a monologue. I am not speaking to myself. In fact, I am sharing this with like-minded people. We are partners in this discussion. I am not dictating anything to you. We are probing and inquiring into the various aspects of life intensely. In today's discussion, we go through the topic, what is life meant for? This is my first video in English. I would like to say it very clearly. It is not to be popular, or it is not for any identity. There is no motive whatsoever in making these videos, least of all making money. That is what the modern world is engaged in. Modern man is in slumber, and this attempt is to awaken, give a wake-up call. It's a little effort. I am concerned with spreading the bitter realities and truths of life. What to do in life? We do many things to make a living. Whether we make enormous wealth or not, it doesn't matter. Whether we earn prestige or not, it doesn't matter. Whether we lead anonymous life, it doesn't matter. Whether we are known, identified or recognized, it doesn't matter at all. What matters is finding truth in this life. That is what life is meant for. Life is meant for knowing the everlasting truth, the perennial truth. But man has lost his way. He is so busy in spending his valuable life in sensuous enjoyment, lost in man-made things, lost in technology. He doesn't have time for these questions. Man has been entrusted in knowing the truths of life from the beginning, from the ancient man to the modern man. When we go through the history of mankind, mankind always asks the questions related to the astounding universe. The universe always surprised him, looking at the skies, looking at the stars, and the vast universe that he finds. He always asked, who is the creator? What is the source of life? Why am I here? Where would I go after death? What is the purpose of life? Can I give any meaning to this life? Can I find the source of life itself? The source or the genesis which is responsible for this vast creation. But he lost his way. Though he wanted to find these eternal truths, he was attracted towards matter and its manifestation in different forms. He was caught up in matter, the materialistic beauty, the sensuous pleasures, and in this very pursuit of pleasure, he forgot his original questions, the questions which he was always interested in. So, what is life meant for? To find anything, we must have the spirit of inquiry. Now, inquiry begins with raising questions. We all raise questions in our day-to-day living. You all know that. Every day we ask innumerable questions. We do answer to the questions which are asked by others. Now, questions are of two kinds. One is simple questions like, what shall we have in the evening snacks? Where should I admit my child for his elementary education? What to plan during this vacation? What to cook tomorrow morning? These are all simple day-to-day living questions which we all ask. But the next category of questions are very profound questions, questions which are very intense and serious. Like, Where do I come from? Where do I go? What is the purpose of living? Is there any meaning to life? Is there any everlasting truth in this universe? What is the source of this creation? How shall I find that source? These are all very profound and intense questions. Very deep-seated, deep-rooted. Now, to the simple questions, we can find answers very easily. Where to admit my child for his elementary education? That is also a question for which we can find answer very easily. But when you raise a question like, is there anything imperishable within me? Because everything is perishing in this nature. So man naturally gets a question, a query, in this perishable world, is there anything that is imperishable? What happens to a person after death? Now, without theorizing, without putting forth any theoretical answer to this, we have to go all by ourselves to find answer. The answer which is not based on any text or any discourse, but in fact an answer that is found by ourselves. Now it needs a prolonged search. It needs immense patience for a person to inquire into the nature of truth. Otherwise, you'll be misled. That's what has been happening with mankind. Mankind has been misled time and again with regard to the question of nature of reality and truth. The purpose of life is fulfilled when we find answers to these questions. Don't put aside these questions saying these are all absurd, meaningless, philosophical questions. But as such, life is filled up with so much of misery, so much of sorrow, resentment, friction. So, in order to find the truth of life, we have to raise appropriate questions. People do not raise questions at all. But what is truth? Truth is that everlasting fact of life which was there in the past, that was yesterday, which is there in the present, that is today, and which is going to be there in the future, that is tomorrow. Truth is everywhere, in each and every speck of life, in each and every atom of the universe. Why are we unable to find it? Because we don't look at it. We don't search for it intensely. So when you ask a question, you don't get answers immediately. We are unable to find answers to the day-to-day questions of living, and we break our heads. So to assume that by raising profound questions, by seeking answers to these profound questions, we come upon truth, we come upon answers. It is not so easy, neither difficult. So one has to remain with the questions and gather all his energy and intensely has to investigate and inquire into, ponder over, meditate upon these questions, and finally, eventually, every man who is deeply interested in these questions, not superficially, but very deeply interested in these questions, will come upon truth. Life will be a fulfillment when you find answers to these questions. Otherwise, life will be a wastage. And most of the people think that old age is the right time to lead such life, which they call it as a spiritual oriented life. But what is the guarantee that the person is going to be alive till he attains the so-called old age? The beauty of life is uncertainty, not certainty. Man wants to create certainty. He wants everything to be certain. But the fact of life is, when you observe keenly nature and the very process of life, you find uncertainty everywhere. And some people think that truth can be found in books. What makes you think that you can find truth in a book? They lay their hands on a couple of books, they read, and they think that they found answer to these profound questions in that text. What makes you think that the truth which is proclaimed and written, declared in that book is true, genuinely true? There are thousands and lakhs of books which speak about truth. Have you read all those books to say that the truth which is written about in this book, which you believe in, is genuine one? Truth is not something which you choose. Truth is not a choice. It is a choiceless awareness. It is to be aware of that which is everywhere. We think that truth is something which comes from outside into our life. Is truth an external entity? Is truth a thing? Is truth an idea which you believe in? People believe in so many things. It is belief that divided people across the world. People fight among themselves to prove that their belief is superior to others' belief. Is truth a belief? We have to find out. It is very, very conspicuous. Very easily one can see it. We are hypnotized down the ages to believe in something. Surprisingly, we believe so many things and we don't do anything about it. We are just satisfied with that belief, and we are ready to fight with others to prove that their belief is superior over others' belief. We just feel thrilled to prove that our belief is superior. And we go our way of living. We don't live up to those beliefs in our life. So what is life meant for? Life is meant for raising fundamental questions of life, very profound questions of life, to remain with those questions with all the energy that we have and observe, investigate, inquire into it relentlessly till we come upon the truth. It is truth that provides fulfillment to life. It gives a purpose to our living. Let us all examine life, because an unexamined life is a waste. Let us examine life intensely by asking relevant questions, questions which are deep-seated and deep-rooted, which are very profound and intense in nature. The very intent to find the truth by raising these questions will bring clarity in our living. Namaskar.